Listen, I'm 101 years old. I've watched thousands of people build wealth, lose it, rebuild it, and throw it away again. And somewhere around age 45, something clicked for me that changed everything. Not about money, about life. See, most people think success is about getting rich. It's not. It's about not being stupid. And being stupid has nothing to do with your IQ. It has everything to do with ignoring the fundamentals that actually matter. Here's what nobody tells you. Your wealth means nothing if you're too sick to enjoy it, too resentful to appreciate it, or too dead to spend it. I'm going to share 7 lessons with you. Not investment advice, life advice. The stuff that actually determines whether you build something meaningful or die with regrets. Most people learn these lessons at 60, 70, or never. You're getting them now. Let me be crystal clear. I don't care if you're 25, 45, or 65. It's not too late. But it will be too late if you keep doing what you're doing. So let's get started. Here's a truth that will make some of you uncomfortable. Your health is not a luxury item. It's the foundation of everything else you're trying to build. I've watched brilliant people with more money than they could ever spend, become prisoners in their own bodies because they treated health like something they'd get to eventually. Eventually never comes. Let me give you some numbers that should terrify you. After age 30, you lose 3–8% of your muscle mass every decade. After 60, that rate doubles. I've seen it happen over and over. Sharp minds trapped in failing bodies. Wealth that can't buy back what was lost through neglect. Here's what I did at 45. I started treating my body like my most important asset. Not out of vanity, out of necessity. You know what lifting weights is? It's compound interest for your body. Every workout is a deposit. Every skipped workout is a withdrawal. And just like with money, those small daily choices compound into massive results over decades. You are literally what you eat, not metaphorically, literally. The molecules from the food you consume become the building blocks of your body and brain. When you feel like garbage, when your mood is terrible, when you can't think straight, stop looking for complex psychological explanations. Look at what you've been putting in your mouth for the past week. The research is clear. The nutrients you consume directly impact your mental health, your energy levels, and your ability to think clearly. Most people treat their bodies like garbage disposals and then wonder why they feel like garbage. Here's something simple that most people ignore. Stop eating 3 to 5 hours before bed. This gives your body time to digest and drastically improves sleep quality. Wait 1 to 2 hours after waking before your first meal. This regulates appetite and activates your circadian rhythms. Do this consistently for 7 days. Your body will adapt. It knows when to expect fuel and optimizes accordingly. 7 to 9 hours every night. Consistent sleep and wake times. This is the minimum viable dose, and quality matters as much as quantity. Dark room, quiet, cool temperature. Make sleep a habit that happens naturally because you've created the conditions for success. Here's what nobody admits. When you fix your terrible sleep habits, you solve a massive amount of problems in your life. Depression improves, anxiety decreases, decision-making gets sharper. It's remarkable what happens when you give your brain the recovery time it desperately needs. Your appearance matters. Everyone loves to say, don't judge a book by its cover. But what do people actually do? They judge books by their covers. That's reality. You can complain about it or you can use it to your advantage. Taking care of your appearance starts with everything we've already discussed. Proper nutrition, weight training, moving your body, restorative sleep. Then you add the details. A decent haircut, clothes that fit well. You don't need to become a fashion icon. You just need to show that you care about yourself. And when you start doing this, when you start presenting yourself as someone who has their life together, people treat you differently. Better opportunities appear. Doors open that would have stayed closed. Is it fair? Maybe not. But it's real. and ignoring reality has never been a winning strategy. Let me tell you something about technology that young people need to hear. When I was in my 30s, the internet was emerging as this transformative force. Many people my age dismissed it as a fad. They paid dearly for that mistake. Now we're seeing the same thing with artificial intelligence. Whatever the new technology is, whatever makes the old guard uncomfortable, dive into it as deeply as possible. That's how you maintain an edge. That's how you stay relevant while your competitors become obsolete. I'm 101 years old, and I'm still learning new technologies. Why? Because the world rewards people who embrace change, not those who resist it. Here's the pattern I've observed over decades. The people who adapt early get rewarded massively. The people who resist get left behind. The people who wait and see get to watch opportunities pass them by. Which one are you? Now I'm going to address something controversial, but it needs to be said. You need to desexualize your brain as quickly as possible. I'm talking about pornography, those Instagram accounts designed to hijack your attention. These AI companions that tech companies are selling now, it's all the same thing. It's designed to capture and monetize your sexual energy. That energy is finite. You can waste it on pixels on a screen, or you can channel it into building something meaningful, into developing yourself, into creating real relationships. The choice seems obvious when you frame it that way, doesn't it? Yet millions of people make the wrong choice every single day. Your sexual energy is power. The question is, are you going to give it away for free to companies that profit from your weakness? Or are you going to harness it for your own goals? Let me tell you about one of the most underrated activities humanity knows. Walking, not running marathons. Not grinding yourself into dust at the gym, just walking. When you're stressed, walk. When you're angry, walk. When you need creativity, walk. When you need clarity, walk. The ancient philosophers knew this. Aristotle taught while walking. The greatest thinkers in history were walkers. Yes, it burns calories. Yes, it's accessible and sustainable. But the real magic is what it does for your brain. It reduces stress, improves cognitive function, gives your subconscious space to work on problems your conscious mind can't solve. If you're looking for one simple habit that will transform your life, start walking every day. Now, let's talk about money, because this is where I see people make their biggest mistakes. Money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. You want to use it to buy freedom, not status. The first step is simple. Pay off all your consumer debt. Make this your singular focus until it's done. Then you start investing in assets and investing in yourself. I once saw someone on social media advocating that people buy a Rolex and go into debt if necessary. According to their reasoning, it attracted their partner because of the watch. It attracted more clients because of the watch. This is some of the most destructive advice I've ever encountered. If you attract a partner based on the accessories you wear, you're going to get exactly what you paid for. If you need a luxury watch to attract clients, it means you lack the skills to persuade people based on the value you actually provide. Most things people buy are just status games, whether they admit it to themselves or not. I'd rather not play that game at all. I'd rather take that money and invest it in skill development, in acquiring knowledge, in building assets that actually appreciate over time. Here's a simple rule that will save you years of wasted time. Stop asking advice from people who have never been where you want to go. Sounds obvious, but watch what people actually do. They ask financial advice from broke friends. They ask health tips from sick relatives. They ask career advice from miserable co-workers. It's insane. If you want to know how to get somewhere, find someone who's already there and learn from them. Let me address something that haunts people, especially as they get older. The belief that it's too late. When I was 24, I faced a decision. I could keep climbing the corporate ladder, or I could pursue something I was genuinely interested in. At 24, I thought it was too late to change careers. Can you imagine? At 24, I believed I'd already missed my window. Then at 30, I had to make another decision. Stay in the job I was good at or start my own business. At 30, I thought it was too late to start a business. That's how our minds betray us. At 30, you're not late. You're early. You finally have enough wisdom to know what matters and enough time to build it. This whole idea that you've missed your chance, that the ship has sailed, it's a story you're telling yourself, and it's a story that will trap you if you let it. Here's the truth. At 30, you have decades ahead of you. At 40, you have decades ahead of you. At 50, you have decades ahead of you. The question isn't, is it too late? The question is, am I going to do something about it or keep making excuses? This brings us to perhaps the most important point I can make. Your greatest mental superpower is the ability to control your perception. Reality isn't exactly reality. Your perception is your reality. And your perception is shaped by the people you spend time with, the environment you're in, and the beliefs you've adopted over your lifetime. You are a chemical mixture of influences and ideas. If you want a better life, you need to change how you see the world. I can take two people with identical backgrounds, place them in identical circumstances, and get completely different perceptions of the same situation. Most people don't realize this, but you can choose the perception that gives you the most power, the interpretation that drives you forward. But you have to do it intentionally. The way you change your reality starts with how you think. Your thoughts create your beliefs. Your beliefs guide your actions. Your actions create your reality. If you want different results in your life, start examining your thoughts. And yes, you can change how you think. It requires effort, but it's entirely possible. I've done it. I've seen other people do it. You can too. Stop viewing things that didn't work out as failures. View them as iterations. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times before creating the light bulb. He discovered 10,000 ways that didn't work. That's a completely different mindset. Here's a principle that governs success in any field. Your iteration rate equals your success rate. If you want to succeed faster, run more experiments. Iterate faster, fail faster, learn faster, act faster. That's how you compress decades of progress into years. Never judge a person based on what they say. Judge them based on what they do. Behavior is the most accurate assessment of character. This applies to every person you allow into your life. Business partners, romantic partners, friends, mentors. Watch what people do, not what they say they'll do. The difference between those two things reveals everything you need to know. Learn from people you disagree with. This is hard, I know. I've seen people watch something, hear one point they disagree with, and immediately dismiss everything else. That's ego protection. That's staying in an echo chamber where all your pre-existing beliefs are reinforced and nothing ever challenges you. When you disagree with someone on one point, it doesn't invalidate everything that person has to say. You get much further in life when you stay objective, when you can extract value even from sources you find disagreeable, or you can stay in your bubble, repeating the same thoughts indefinitely. That's certainly easier, but easy rarely leads to anything interesting. I want to talk about forgiveness, but not in a religious or sentimental way. This is practical. There are 4 types of people you need to forgive if you want to move forward in life. First, your parents. Holding resentment toward the people who gave you life is like drinking poison and expecting them to die. Every generation, every family, they all come with different tools, different limitations. After I became a parent myself, I understood this on a much deeper level. You don't need to spend time with them if the relationship is toxic, but freeing yourself from that resentment liberates a huge amount of energy for other things. Second, people you once loved who didn't stay. Your ex-partners, former friends, Don't carry that burden with you. Learn what you needed to learn and move on. Third, people who genuinely hurt you. Holding grudges only hurts you. And fourth, yourself. This might be the hardest one. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting go of the resentment so you can move forward. The more you cling to these hurts, the more they anchor you to the past. If you want better results in life, look at the people you surround yourself with. If they don't match the reality you're trying to build, you need to find a better group. It's harsh, but it's true. You get smarter by being the dumbest person in the room. You get fitter by being the least fit person at the gym. Stop protecting your ego and spend time with people who are at higher levels than you. I've done this consistently throughout my life, and I can tell you what happens. You evolve through osmosis. You observe how they think, how they act, how they solve problems. And when you spend time around people operating at a higher level, you naturally adopt those patterns too. Most people think an optimal life comes down to money, cars, and houses. Those are just symbols. A fulfilling life is actually built with things money can't buy. Doing work you love, having your health, a close family, deep relationships. I'm always making sure I don't place too much importance on external measures of success and instead focus heavily on the things that bring me real satisfaction. Because here's something nobody tells you. You can have all the money in the world and still be miserable. I've seen it countless times. A fulfilling life comes from focusing on the right constraints. There are two types of constraints you should consider, each requiring a different strategy. First, the bottleneck. What's the one thing preventing you from achieving what you want? Identify it, fix it, prioritize removing that bottleneck above all other tasks. The greatest entrepreneurs I've studied aren't focused on adding more things. They're focused on optimizing and removing constraints. Success has less to do with addition and more to do with subtraction. The second type of constraint is one you impose on yourself to defend your values. Want to build a successful business? Great. Can you still be home at 5 p.m. every day for dinner with your family? That's your constraint. Can you maintain your health while building that business? Another constraint. These second-level constraints ensure you don't sacrifice what matters most while pursuing your goals. And that's what creates a fulfilling life, not just a successful one. Use the 3 levels of learning. Level 1 is consumption. This is what you're doing right now, listening to these ideas. This is the shallowest level. Level 2 is application. This transforms knowledge into experience. Level 3 is teaching. This transforms experience into wisdom. By applying all 3 levels, you learn at a depth most people never reach. Consume information, apply it in your life, then teach it to others. That's how you truly master anything. Your emotions are your responsibility. I wish someone had taught me this in high school. For years, I'd get into arguments and say things like, "You made me feel this way." But that's not how it works. Nobody can make you feel anything. You create your feelings in response to external events. Maybe other people contributed to the situation, but the feeling is yours. You generated it. And if you generated it, you can manage it. Learning to manage your emotions is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Not suppressing them, not ignoring them, but managing them, understanding them, channeling them productively. Take responsibility for every outcome in your life. Drop the victim mentality. It might not be your fault, but it's always your responsibility. When you blame others, you lose control of your life. You give them power over your life. Personal power means avoiding the temptation to blame others for what happens in your world, even if they contributed to the problem, even if they genuinely wronged you. Blaming them won't help you move forward. Be a goal-oriented person. Your mind is a goal-seeking machine. Most people set the wrong goals or no goals at all. You need something to focus on, or goals will be chosen for you by advertisers, by social pressure, by default settings. When I started working as a coach, I read an article by Paul Chek, one of the most legendary fitness coaches on the planet. At the end, he said, "People are more likely to achieve their goals if they write them down." He had an action plan. Write down 20 goals and see what happens. At that time, nothing else was working for me, so I decided to try it. I wrote down 20 goals, some completely outside my current reality, like becoming the best trainer at my gym. I put the paper in my drawer and forgot about it. 6 months later, I opened that drawer and found the list. I pulled it out and was stunned. I'd already achieved about half of those goals, including becoming the top trainer. That was my first real experience with the power of goal setting. Since then, I've refined the process considerably. Start with a 3-year vision. There's a great book about this called Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold. It guides you in creating this long-term vision of where you're going. After you define your 3-year vision, break it down into annual goals. Ask yourself, what do I need to accomplish this year to move closer to that vision? Then break that annual goal into quarterly projects. Break those down into monthly activities. Break those down into weekly activities. Then schedule those in your calendar and execute them daily. I make sure to complete at least 3 of those tasks daily to keep moving forward. Whenever you're creating any outcome in your life, you should start with the end and work backwards. When you can transform a goal into a series of realistic steps, you realize that almost anything you want in life is achievable. But here's the paradox. After you set that goal, after you create the destination in your GPS, you must focus on the process. Find ways to enjoy the process. Because here's what you'll discover if you achieve any significant goal. You don't actually feel that happy when you reach them. The happiness was in the struggle. The happiness was in the daily work, the challenges, the growth. There's a rapper called Russ who has a verse that captures this perfectly. I like the climb, don't care where the summit is. But by focusing on each step, you make the journey far more enjoyable. This allows you to play an infinite game, where the greatest joy comes from the process itself, not some future achievement. Achieving goals isn't about getting things, it's about becoming the person who attracts those results as a natural consequence of who they are. A goal transforms you. It elevates you to a new level. You literally can't be the same person after achieving a significant goal. You need new behaviors, new ways of thinking. Throughout that journey, focus on the behaviors necessary to achieve your goal. Repeat those behaviors until they become part of who you are. That's how transformation actually works. A mentor once told me something that changed how I approach everything. The shortcut is the longest path. The longest path is the shortcut. Think about all the times you tried to lose weight as fast as possible, all the times you tried to get rich quickly. How did that work out? Seeking shortcuts eliminates the skills necessary to maintain the results you want. When it comes to anything worthwhile in life, choose the longest path. In the end, it's always the shortest route. The 3 most important decisions you'll make are what you'll do for work, who you'll work with, and where you'll live. These 3 factors determine where you spend most of your time and energy. Choose wisely. These aren't decisions to be made lightly or by default. Let me give you a formula for success that works in any area. Step 1, show up. Show up when you're motivated and when you're not. Show up when you feel like it and when you don't. Just that puts you ahead of 80% of people who only show up when they feel like it. Step 2, when you're there, do the work, real work, deep work, not shallow, busy work. Eliminate all distractions and focus completely on what you're doing. That's how you get rewarded. Step 3, and this is the most neglected part, look for ways to improve. You can show up and do the work, but if you're working on the wrong things or using inadequate methods, you won't make progress. Adopt a mindset of constant, relentless improvement. You can always find ways to get better at anything you do. I've used this formula to get in shape, build businesses, and grow on social media. It's simple, but don't confuse simplicity with ease. And here's my final point. People overestimate what they can accomplish in 6 weeks, but drastically underestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year. Think about all the things you abandoned because they got a little too difficult. If you had stuck with them for an entire year, you'd be amazed at where you'd be now. My biggest regrets come from not doing things when I should have. I created a YouTube channel 15 years ago. I posted sporadically, didn't see immediate results, and quit. I look back and feel genuine regret. If I had committed to it for 1 full year, I'd be far ahead of where I am now. While everyone is selling you shortcuts and quick fixes, get-rich-quick schemes and 6-week transformations, adopt a different mentality. I'll do this for however long it takes. Want to get in shape? However long it takes. Want to build a business? However long it takes. This mentality gives you permission to make mistakes, to not be perfect, to avoid the all-or-nothing trap that destroys most people's progress. Instead of giving yourself 6 weeks or 6 months, give yourself a full year to attract the level of success you want. That's how you avoid regret. Now, don't believe anything I've said. I'm just someone who's lived through these experiences and learned these lessons, often the hard way. Test these ideas in your own life. As Bruce Lee said, absorb what is useful and reject what is useless. The choice is yours, but make it consciously, make it intentionally, because the life you're living right now is the sum of all the choices you've made up to this moment. And the life you'll be living 5 years from now will be determined by the choices you make starting today. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep doing what you've been doing and hope for different results, or are you ready to make some changes? Time is passing, not in a scary way, but in a way that should inspire urgency. You have more time than you think, but less time than you'd like. Use it wisely.